Hey everybody, now that the sun is up, I can finally do a little bit of recording. It was just too dark earlier. So as I mentioned in a video yesterday, or the day before, depends on when I get this put together and uploaded, I was going to take you on a little trip with me today, since I'm going to be on the road for about 7 hours, not 7 hours in one stretch, but a couple hours here and there. And I was looking back at my video that I uploaded to make sure, you know, the audio and video sync and everything was good on it. And I realized that I got distracted by that crazy squirrel and totally forgot what I was telling you and went on to something else. So anyway, one of the things I do on this contract work when I'm not doing, you know, construction or whatever other jobs I can find, and I'll get maybe 2 or 3 of these jobs a month to do for them. Not enough to make a living, but, you know, it gets a little bit of cash in the door. And so it's a contracting company, and it's what they do. They're kind of like a middleman, so to speak. So if you've got a big corporation, say a Walmart or a whatever, Best Buy, 7-Eleven, and they have a plumbing issue, typically the manager of that store is not going to call a plumber and say, come fix my problem. He's going to call his home office. Their corporate office then calls a service company, and then that service company says they've got a list of contractors, HVAC, electricians, plumbers, I mean, whatever, sign repair, I mean, you name it. And then they'll look up that city and send somebody out. Well, that's kind of what we do. And they do, this company does contracting work for all of that. Excuse me. The main stuff that I do is in doctor's office on computers. And typically the 2 major ones I deal with are a computer in a waiting room, which is typically up on the wall near the ceiling somewhere, and it could run anything from the doctor's office hours to, hey, it's time to get your flu shot, to it's allergy season, to drug company ads, here's new medicines, be sure you check your prescriptions, read the labels. I mean, you know, it'll have about a 15-20 minute loop before it starts over and replaying the loop again. Tells you, and it depends on what type of office it's in. Like the one I'm going to first is a dermatology office, so they'll have ads that relate to that. Some of the offices will be like for heart and cardiovascular and things like that, so they'll talk about maybe exercises and, you know, cholesterol and, you know, things of that nature. And so the service center needs access to these online so they can push that content out. So if the doctor's office updates information, the service center can push it out. If a drug company comes out with new information, they can push it out. Then we also deal with a system back in like a doctor's office, like a lounge area or something like that, to where it has doctor's information only. So maybe new drugs, new prescribing information, side effects, you know, different stuff like that, things that pertain to stuff that they might be prescribing. And again, the drug companies need access to it so they can push information to it. Well, when one of those systems goes down, we either get a call from the doctor's office saying, hey, it's not working, or we get a call from like a drug company saying, I can't get through to it. We'll typically call in, have them, you know, reboot, see if we can figure it out online, over the phone to get them up and running. If we can't, then they send us on site. And so that's where I'm on my way to today. The first one is about 2 hours from my house. And typically I can solve a problem or at least figure out what's going on within about 2 hours, and then I'm done and out of there. And then after I leave there, about another hour and a half to hour and 45 minute drive to the next site, and probably again another 2 hours there. And then it'll take me about 3 hours, 15 minutes, maybe 3.5 hours to get back home. And so, again, sorry, I'm looking at my exits here. I want to make sure I hit the right one. So that's where I'm on my way today. And both of these sites are on an analog system. And so
Then a quarter mile, turn left onto North Range Line Street.
There my GPS is telling me where to go. And so both of these systems are on analog, which means they are dial up. We'll have modems in there, which I'll try to show you some pictures of. And so the first site will not let us convert them over to broadband. The second site says we can convert. So I don't know, I'll figure out what's going on, and once I get there, I'll do some quick updates and I'll let you know. We'll talk to you later. Okay guys, here we are at the first site, and I'm going to check back in once I get inside. Okay guys, here's what we're dealing with. I'm trying to be quiet since I'm in a doctor's waiting room and I got people all around here. This is out here in the waiting room. That runs like the doctor's ads, medicine ads, things like that. And then some of these we've got the CPU hooked directly to the back of them. This one, we go down, there's the CPU. I've already got it apart, figured out what's wrong. The CPU's dead. As you can see there, it'll hang on that screen for about 10 minutes and then just shut down. No errors, no nothing. Little CMOS battery inside is good. And so fans are working. But here's one of the issues we deal with. Let me get down here in this corner. See what this is? That's right. That is a regular analog phone line. And then over here, that is right, boys and girls. That is a USB dial-up modem. So this site, and a lot of these sites, the next site I'm going to is on dial-up. And this site here, they will not let us convert it over to internet, to high-speed broadband for whatever reason. And so the next site, they do want us to go ahead and convert over. So they've got, like this site, I've already looked, they've got broadband coming into the building, but they won't let us hook into it for whatever reason. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to talk to you guys later. Hey guys, sorry for the wind noise, but it was much windier in there. Here's just some equipment that I pulled out. There is the USB modem off the system now. And of course, regular analog phone line. Here's the Stealth that we use on a lot of these. And so we can program those different ports to pick up different signals. So I pulled that out of there. Typically what we'll do is we'll run their outside line that they normally run into their fax machine. We'll plug it into here. We'll plug their fax machine into one of these. We'll plug our system into one of these. And then that way when a fax comes in, this will route it to the fax machine. And then when we call in, we'll send it a signal and it'll route it to our machine to upload software. So once I get inside, out of some of this wind, I'll finish up. Okay guys, that is it. You saw I did one video in there where I was not talking just because there was a huge air purifier. I mean, I'm talking the size of like your compressor unit on your HVAC sitting outside your house, blowing incredibly loud. I would have had to scream to make sure you heard me. And then I did just a real quick short video showing you like the ads that run on those systems. And you've probably seen them, something very similar. And if you've ever been into a doctor's or dentist or whatever, they're everywhere out there. And so this was another system that was on analog, so it was on a dial-up system. This one I didn't have to run cable. And so I didn't get to show you much. So that wasn't incredibly exciting. Of course, I don't know how incredibly exciting running cable would have been either. But they had their IT guys install a jack right behind the machine, and you saw my patch cable plugged into that. So all I had to do was just run off, you know, I think I have about 6 foot. I always like to give them plenty of extra. I ran off about 6 foot off of my big spool of cable, crimped a couple ends on it, made a patch cable, plugged it in, reloaded the software. That was that Norton Ghost. Wiped the hard drive, reload Windows XP is what they are still running. And so reloaded that, reload our software, and then since we're converting it from analog to broadband, had to load that and then configure it. Get them to, excuse me, make sure all the ports were open so we could communicate back and forth. And that's about it. And so here we are about 8 hours later. Wasn't that a fast 8 hours? So that was about 8 hours later from when I left the house this morning. I'm going to go find me a quick bite to eat real quick, and then I've got about a 3.5 hour drive home. And then I'll either get this uploaded tonight or in the morning. Thanks for coming. I don't know whether you found it interesting or not, but it's just one of the things I do. Talk to you guys later. Appreciate it.